Long ago, in the eastern part of the country lived a tribe called the Igbo, a tribe whose hearts beat with the rhythm of the earth. Their land was rich, their rivers full, and their villages strong. They were free from all the plagues surrounding other parts of the country, proud of their heritage, their customs, and their way of life. The Igbo people knew no master except the land which yielded fruit and increase of bountiful harvest, and the spirits of their ancestors, who watched over them. But then, a terrible shadow began to spread over the land. The slave traders, foreign men with eyes of greed and hearts of stone, arrived on the shores of the Igbo kingdom. They came in ships that seemed to blot out the sun, their sails black as the night. They brought iron chains and whips, tools of suffering and subjugation. Their voices were strange, their words harsh, and their purpose clear, to capture the Igbo people and sell them into slavery. The Igbo were caught by surprise. They had heard whispers of the white men who took people far away to work in lands unknown. But they never thought such evil would touch their shores. The people of the Igbo land were strong, warriors and farmers, wise men and healers, but they had never faced an enemy like this. The traders came with weapons of steel, and soon they had captured many of the young men and women. Shackled, beaten, and forced onto ships, they were taken to faraway lands where their names, pride, custom, and tradition would be forgotten, and their dignity stolen. Among the villagers who were taken was a young woman named Amara. She was known throughout the land for her beauty, her strength, and her wisdom. Her skin shone like the earth after the rain, and her spirit was as fierce as a lioness. Amara loved her people deeply, and her heart was heavy with sorrow as she was dragged from her home and forced into a ship. The ship was a place of horror. The air was thick with the stench of sweat, fear, and disease. The chains on the wrist of the captives clinked in the darkness, and the cries of the prisoners echoed throughout the night. Amara was thrown into a cramped, filthy hold, along with other men and women from her village. The white traders moved among them like shadows, their faces hard and cruel. As the ship set sail across the endless ocean, Amara's mind was filled with rage and despair. She had heard the stories of the people who were taken, how they were forced to walk like beasts, how they were treated less than human. But she knew that her people were not meant for such a fate. The Igbo were not born to serve others, they were born to live free. Amara refused to accept the idea of becoming a slave. One night, as the ship sailed through the dark, turbulent waters of the ocean, Amara gathered the other captives. They huddled in the darkness, their bodies aching, their minds consumed with fear. But in Amara's eyes, there was a spark of something else, something greater than fear, defiance. "We are Igbo," Amara said, her voice strong and unwavering. "We are not born to be slaves. Our ancestors did not live and die in the soil of this earth for us to be taken like cattle. We are free people, and no man, no matter how powerful, can take that from us." Her words filled the others with hope, but it was not enough to ease their fear. They were far from home, lost at sea, with no way of knowing what awaited them. Some whispered that death would be better than a life in chains. Others cried out for their families, for the homes they would never see again. The ocean, with its vast, unforgiving waves, seemed both a grave and a freedom. Amara stood tall, despite the chains that bound her, and she made a decision. If they could not escape the traders, then she would lead her people to a different kind of freedom, the freedom of the ancestors. "I will not live as a slave," she said. "I will not live to see my people broken by these men. Let the ocean take us, rather than the traders." With that, Amara leaped from the ship, her body cutting through the air like an arrow. The others hesitated for a moment, but Amara's courage was like fire in their hearts. One by one, they followed her. The cold, dark water of the ocean greeted them as they plunged into its depths, the waves swallowing their bodies as they sank beneath the surface. The slave traders on the ship were furious. They shouted and cursed, but it was too late. The Igbo people had chosen their fate. They would not be taken to distant lands to toil and suffer. They would not live as slaves. Instead, they returned to the ocean, the place where their ancestors had once sailed in canoes, the place that had carried them through many storms, and the place that would now carry them into the spirit world. The ocean, vast and eternal, claimed them as its own. Their bodies were never found, but their spirits lived on, forever free, forever defiant. The Igbo people, even in death, would not be slaves. The story of Amara and the others spread throughout the Igbo land. The elders told it to their children, passing down the tale of the brave souls who chose death over slavery. And when the wind howled through the trees, and the waves crashed upon the shore, some said you could hear the voices of the brave ones calling out to their people, singing songs of freedom that no chains could ever silence. And so, the Igbo people remembered. They honored their ancestors, who had chosen freedom over the bitter chains of slavery. The legacy of those who had died in the ocean lived on in the hearts of the living, a reminder that no matter how great the chains, the human spirit could never be broken. The end. Don't forget to like this video. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel at African Folktale by J.E. See you again in our next video and have a nice day. Bye.